大家好，大家好，周六晚上好，我是 Sophia，IvyCompass 的 CEO。今天晚上又特别高兴能够有我们 Dearly Partner Lumineer 跟我们来分享一些非常 knowledgeable 的 information。那在开始之前呢，我先用中文跟大家分享一下，因为可能会有一些新的朋友的加入。我们在这个平台上跟大家分享这些有价值的信息，是在 AllianceforImpact。那AllianceforImpact 呢是一个501c3的一个公益组织啊，我们的主要的这个 function 和宗旨呢是通过知识分享来提高我们整体华裔的这个群体素质，同时呢还宣传和鼓励以华裔为主的亚裔群体对当地社会的贡献啊，同时呢增强亚裔对主流社会的影响力，提高我们的整体的社会地位。那在这个整个的疫情到现在为止呢，我们大概举办过400多场讲座，听众超过15万，来自于不同的州和不同的国家，社区呢有大概3万多的华人家庭。那我们分4大板块，第一大板块呢是我们成人的公益讲座，里面包括影响力的人物采访啊，金融投资、科技以及其他行业的一些信息啊，包括文艺人物、社会热点采访等等。前段时间我们还作为那个 Stanley 的那个18个学校、16个学校被拒的那个社会热点，我们也进行了一些采访和讨论。第二大板块呢是我们的 AFI， 也就是青少年的公益组织，里面包括了联合国青少年的 SDG 的领导力培训、财商和投资系列课程，包括我们的夏令营，还有一些环保艺术设计大赛等等。第三大板块呢是委员长领导的亲子学院 TCPC， 也有非常多的系列的讲座，像上个星期六有一个林老师哈，台湾的一个非常有名的李重建老师来跟我们分享这个家庭的这一些沟通啊，包括爱的流动啊，家庭工作坊啊，还有一些对自闭症和 ADHD 的多动症的一些关爱。第4大板块呢是大家也是用的不亦乐乎的每天的云健身俱乐部，有瑜伽、舞蹈、武术、瘦身，还有包括种花、种菜分享、健康美食分享。总之呢，是丰富多彩，希望大家持续关注我们的这些分享。那今天晚上呢，周六呢是我们教育 focus 的一个主题分享。那我来介绍一下我们的公司 AFI-IvyCompass 呢，中文叫指南针，它是致力于将北美口碑最好的前藤校招生官和包括独立的升学顾问，还包括艺术和音乐作品集的辅导课程以及竞赛辅导等稀缺资源对接给我们全球的华人家庭。我们希望通过 AFI-IvyCompass 这样的一个平台呢，还提供一些志愿者定制化的志愿者的机会，包括一些社会影响力、科研以及实习等背景提升项目。那么 Lumineer 今天晚上所分享的这个非常宝贵的这个资源呢，就是在这个背景提升这一个板块里头。我们希望呢，在全方位把控升学服务质量的同时，能够看重培养提升学生的软实力和领导力，为孩子的全面个人成长呢提供保驾护航。那大家可以看到在屏幕上面所出现的是我们2022年、2023年的一些senior 所录取的大学。那么大家比较看重的几所学校都有学生被录取的记录哈，我就不一一来那个分享了。我们的那个业务板块呢，大概分3大板块，美高、美本是我们的主营业务，包括转学、大学转学。还有美研和申请美博哈，这个艺术类申请、音乐申请都是我们的主要业务板块。在背景提升方面呢，就有今天 Lumineer 所 feature 的科研的一些项目，还有包括竞赛的辅导啊，艺术和音乐作品集的辅导，还包括刚刚所提到的公益项目和社区辅导，都有在我们这一个业务板块的内容当中。同时还提供托福啊、雅思培训、ACT 啊，也有相关的一些战略合作伙伴在提供这些方面的一些帮助。那么这个是我们微信公众号，如果大家怎么跳掉了？如果想进入我们的公众微信号，今天这个屏幕好像有点跳跃啊。Sorry， 哎，稍等啊，这个今天的这个电脑好像有点 on its mind。哎，好，希望又跳动了。今天晚上不知道这个 technology 怎么回事哈，就是在我们这边跳动啊。那么我现在呢就是来介绍 Lumineer 为什么跟 AFI-IvyCompass 合作是非常好的一个 option。首先呢，我们会跟 Lumineer 一起来 match 最好的、最合适的 faculty 和 mentor。第二呢，在这个 research 这个 subject 上面也是非常 flexible 的啊。那么像明如和这个玛雅带领的团队会很好的听取我们升学导师顾问所给予的一些指导，在这个local community 的 issue 上面会帮助我们的学生选择最合适的、最能让他们突出的一些 research 的 topic 和 direction 同时我们还有指定的 account manager 来 enhance make sure 整个的 process 是 smooth 的。如果遇到了任何的一些问题和障碍，我们是有一个 leading 团队，像明如和这个 Maya 去 go to， 来帮助孩子解决这个 research 当中遇到的困难啊。那么今天晚上，我就把弗洛交给明如和 Maya，他们的讲座要点是：第一，哪3个 three insights shared by admission officer 是讲这个 research 是相当重要的。同时 ，how students with research experience are doing differently in college application。第3点呢，就是 research is a spike。现在我们不是一定要 looking for 全面的学生，而是你需要有一个 spike 来告诉对方和学校 in what area you are most valuable。所以在 academic 和 personal 这个 project 的这个同时，让 research 成为你的一个 spike。那么 let me right now give the floor to Maya and Mingru. Now you can take over. I can stop sharing my PPT.
Perfect. Thanks, Sophia. I will start sharing my screen.
Sounds good.
Great. Maya, you can kick us off and we can do a self-intro in the beginning.
Yeah, perfect. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I am losing my voice a little bit, so I apologize if it goes in and out, but my name is Maya Novak Herzog. I am a PhD candidate at Northwestern University. I have been a mentor with Lumiere for about 4 years now. And I also work in US partnerships at Lumiere with a lot of our students and parents and families. And I am super happy to be talking with you all today. I love research. I'm currently writing my dissertation. And so happy to answer questions as someone that is affiliated with Lumiere, but also as a researcher myself. And I'll pass to Minru to introduce herself and then get a little bit more into the slides.
Perfect. Thank you, Maya. Great. Hi, guys. My name is Mingru, and I'm currently responsible for the operation and our partnership in China. So working with a lot of American-born Chinese students and also Chinese students at Lumiere. So I'm not a PhD. I'm not a PhD student or owning a PhD degree, but I did 1 year of honor thesis during my undergrad in University of Richmond in Virginia, and did my master at Columbia. Joined Lumiere 3 years ago and have worked with many students and saw how they combine their academic strength, their personal interest to do a very unique research topic, which helped them learn more about themselves and also help them succeed in the college admission journey. So today we're going to share valuable research actually we did at Lumiere as we interviewed 6 admission officers on how they evaluate high school research projects and what they're looking forward. So we're going to share those insights and a little bit more about how we think students should compete in college admission and a little bit more about the program we collaborate with AFI-IvyCompass.
Excellent. So I'll start us off. At a broad level, we just wanted to share a little bit with you about some of the things that the admissions officers said about the role of research in college applications. So this is not something that a lot of high school students know or have access to. And so we think it is really important to just share this information, and then you can sort of do with that what you want. So for example, the provost and dean of admissions at University of Pennsylvania said that our faculty and fellow students across Penn schools and research centers are ready to welcome the latest generation of dynamic scholars who will continue to create new knowledge to benefit the world. So this emphasis on creating new knowledge is really important, as well as this look to students who are already sort of creating new knowledge and are already working on, adding new knowledge to the world. We also know the admissions officer at Duke University shared that admissions readers, usually at highly selective schools, take about 10 minutes or less to look at applications. So that makes us think about what are things that would really stand out in an application, what are ways that we can really capture somebody's interest in sort of 10 minutes. And then the head of student recruitment at the University of Cambridge said, we're looking to understand that connection and that student focus that a student has had in their research and how that will be relevant to their future studies. So now we get a specific mention to research, the importance in research, and we're really, really seeing the importance and the rise of research in college applications, which I will show you in our next slide. So what we know from our white paper, from talking to tons and tons of admissions officers, is that nearly 1/3 of admitted students from the highly selective universities that we interviewed engaged in academic research during their time in high school. So this is a really significant amount, and that number has grown significantly over time. We also learned that students with research experience are more likely to get into top 10 universities in the US. So you can see average acceptance rate at these top 10 universities is about 5%, but for Lumiere scholars, and we'll break down those numbers in a moment, that number is 20%. So engaging in research, at least with Lumiere, really gives you an edge on getting into those top 10 universities. So here's a breakdown of our actual results. So these are comparing the Lumiere acceptances of these top universities with sort of the overall college acceptance rate. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but you can see, for example, Columbia, 3 schools down, we had 27 Lumiere applicants. 8 of those students were accepted, which makes our acceptance rate around 30%, whereas the overall acceptance rate for all students was 3.93%. So very, very small, obviously. And that just shows that doing a Lumiere project increased a student's likelihood of getting in by 7.5%. So very, very large increase. Another example will go to Harvard, which isn't as significant, but still a bit significant. So we had 33 applications, 2 students were accepted, which means that we had a 6% acceptance rate, whereas the overall acceptance is 3.4. So even with Harvard, what is arguably considered one of the most competitive schools in the world, we were able to increase students' acceptance rates. And you can see for every single school on this list, all of the Ivy Leagues, there is a significant increase in odds of admission for students who are doing our research program, which, if anything, just highlights how important research is to admissions officers. So there's really 2 elements of admission, right? We have academics, and we have then the profile of the student that's admitted. So your grades, your test scores, those are things that you already probably know quite a bit about. And depending on your year, there are things that I've already decided for you, or you're going to get a certain level, right? You're going to get the test score. You can study as much as you want. There's a certain test score you're going to get. But there's also all of these other elements that are really important to a college application. So leadership, projects, competition, research. Some of these areas are things that people might not think about or put as much emphasis on, despite the importance of it, especially the importance of telling a full story with your leadership, projects, competitions, research. So we're going to tell you a little bit about one way you can do that today. So I think something that's really important is sort of this myth of a well-rounded applicant, right? So sometimes there is a sort of stereotype or line that goes around that in order to be highly competitive in college admissions, you need to be well-rounded, you need to have done a little bit of everything. But what we've found time and time again is it's actually students who go very deeply into one or several things that get the best results, as opposed to a student that does just a little bit of everything. So, this is a quote that kind of signifies that too often students participate in activities just to check off a series of boxes instead of showing that deep and sustained involvement. And so what we do at Lumiere is we really try to help students get that big spike, that specialty, that rigor in one or several specific areas, as opposed to having an application that sort of seems like you're just checking off boxes. So 2 elements of a spike, 2 elements of really showing that you've gone deeply into something is the impact of your project and also the uniqueness of your project. And we'll talk about both. So really, right, in order to make a deep impact, in order to show that what you're doing is really important, you need to have institutional credibility and you need to have traction. So as you can see this circle here, everything that you do has, some sort of impact, whether it be just on yourself, that would be like a very, very small spike, to impact on your school, community, city, national, and global. And the goal for a very deep spike is to do something that is able to stretch out as much as possible. So if you're able to do something that not just affects yourself, not even just affects your school, but affects your whole city, maybe even your whole country, the whole world, right? That would be something really, really big. That is something that is definitely a deep spike and something that would be very, very impressive to admissions officers. So uniqueness, this is a really important aspect of research, and that is how different is your spike from the rest, right? Because you can do something very in-depth, but if it's something that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 other people have done, it might be less impressive than something that only you have done, something that really sets you apart. So I want to show a few selected student profiles and how they really did something that was unique, really did something that set them apart. So Lily, really good example here. She was accepted to Princeton University. Her research topic was, how can the standard model of particle physics be consistently extended to include additional light matter fields, and how might such fields explain dark matter? Okay, so this is a very specific topic. And it's also very unique, right? A lot of high school students are probably not asking questions such as this one and then providing an answer and then writing about those answers in their college applications. And as you can see, this was really helpful to her because she did get accepted into Princeton, and she actually said that the Princeton admissions officers called her mentor, asked the mentor about the research project, and that was really important in her ultimate acceptance into Princeton. Raya is another really good example. She asked the question of what were the initial conditions of the universe that permitted the growth of the structures we see today. She was accepted into the University of Pennsylvania. And again, she said that she was accepted early decision. She really highlighted her research project in her application. That's, again, a research paper that you wouldn't just see any high school student doing. It's really unique. It shows a lot of depth into this research area, that she has a lot of expertise. And then Theo wrote the impact of USA's and China's AI advancement on the European market and its role in reshaping global power dynamics. So this is more of a social sciences or economics question. But again, super specific, very unique, very few high school students that are probably doing things like this. He was accepted to Berkeley, right? Amazing school, highly, highly selective. And he really wrote about how impactful it was to have this program, to work with his mentor, and how that affected his overall college application. So again, these are really good examples, I think, of unique projects. So here is a way that you can combine sort of academics with your personal project, right? So you can showcase academic excellence by demonstrating advanced work in the field. So it doesn't really matter what field you're in. Let's say you're interested in psychology, astrophysics, biology, whatever. The fact that you are distinguishing yourself in that field, showing rigor and depth in that field, is a way to set yourself up as an academically rigorous person. You can submit your paper as part of your portfolio, right? So you can say, look, I have great grades. I also, have worked with a researcher, and this is the paper. This is my final outcome that shows that I'm also a really good writer, right? So that's a way that you can help stand out in the academic sense. You're also working with the top researchers. So how many high schoolers can say that they've worked with a PhD candidate from Harvard, that they've worked with a PhD candidate from Columbia, right? That is something that very few high schoolers can say. And those PhD candidates actually are so helpful as your mentors. So I've written many letters of recommendation for my students. I've shown my students around Northwestern. Those relationships are really lifelong relationships that you will have that I think can be really, really valuable. Every single student receives a personalized evaluation. You can send that evaluation to the university, et cetera. And then finally, through research, you're demonstrating university readiness, right? So you're going beyond just being a research assistant, just supporting someone else in their research. You are doing your own research topic. You are really working on your own thing, and that really sets you apart. And then obviously, all of this creates really excellent experience that you can write about in your college applications. So we want to talk about ways that you can actually do research in high school. So there's a few ways to do it, right? You don't have to do Lumiere. One way to do it is a structured research program like MIT RSI, right? Like Primes, like Lumiere. That's one way to do it. You could also do research assistant work where you outreach to local professors. Oftentimes you have to outreach to, honestly, hundreds and hundreds of professors, send a lot of mass emails, wait for them to respond, and then you'll probably be doing the work that they're already doing in their lab. They probably aren't going to have time to mentor you individually, but this is one way to do it. You could also do individual independent research, right? You can work on your own IB paper. You can look at stuff online. You won't have a mentor to work with, but this is also another way that you can complete research.
Perfect. I think I saw a question from the audience asking how do students choose their own research topic? I think I'll just answer that first, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So I think the uniqueness of this Lumiere program is all of the option that we provide is one-on-one mentorship format, which gives students a lot of flexibility to choose what they are actually interested in. So I think maybe 40 to 60% of the students, their research topic originated from their own personal interest, academic background. And of course, when students finalize the research question in the first month of the program, the PhD mentor will guide students through to find the actually researchable research question. But there are also maybe another 40% of students who enter the program not knowing what they're exactly want to do or like which direction they want to go. They only know like I'm interested in a broad field or a branch under a specific field. And then the PhD mentor will give more guidance on what literature review to explore and help students to choose the research topic, but hopefully it's also aligned with students' own interest. Otherwise, research can be pretty challenging. So we want students to do something that they're really passionate about, so they can, push through the process and finish strong. Yes, I will continue to talk more about some insights we get from the white paper, which is how admission officers evaluate student research. So we have been running the programs for past 4 to 5 years, and we're always curious like how we see like the increase in admission rates, but we wanted to learn from admission officers how they think and how they evaluate this type of projects during college application. So first, I think admission officers shared with us they favor succinct and punchy descriptions, because we mentioned that they only have 10 minutes to review every student's profile and application. And they firstly, of course, focus on PS, grades, a lot of like other type of recommendation letters. So there's only limited time left for admission officers to look into profile building or leadership efforts. So they want a quick description of what students did with their research. So it's usually an abstract student will include in their research paper, and they can include that during college application. And they are looking for the connection to the field of application. So if students, some students will choose their major when applying for schools, and admission officers are really looking for whether there's a connection between your research and your choice. How did your research help you maybe make your mind to do this, like to choose this major, or how did your research help you to decide not to choose a major? So they value the context and how the research has helped you to find your journey, to find yourself and find your value in the 3 years of your high school. And also they really value the context the students comes from, just like college admission in general. So for example, we have a Chinese student who is from an international school in China called Guangdong Country Garden School, 广州碧桂园学校. And she was brilliant, and she did a research topic that assessed the effectiveness of a paired assistance program between Hangzhou and Guizhou. And this is a small policy under the battle against poverty policy in China. And the student actually combined her interest in economics and political science and her background from China, and also her personal interest to do a very individualized. There's no one else who can do this project and this topic, and it shows that she's thinking about critically about the context she's coming from, and so admission officers really value why you want to do research and how you did it, rather than you just want to check the box that because my classmates are doing research, I'm doing the research as well. And also admission officers value the efforts beyond school hours and students' diploma program, because we know IB has IB extended essay, and AP curriculum has AP capstone. But doing additional offer beyond some preliminary research opportunity or research at school with school teachers. For example, doing a program with a real researcher in college, like a PhD student, is showing students are actually wanted to go beyond the high school difficulty, high school coursework difficult level, and take their interest and passion to another level. And how admission officers to assess authenticity in publications, because there's so many different ways to do research. The first one is they really value the degree of involvement. So they are looking for whether this topic is given by someone else, whether data is collected by someone else or it's by the students themselves. And so I think that's the strength of a one-on-one mentorship program, that students can take a lead from the very beginning and make the project their own, while the mentor is just there to support and help. And admission officers are also looking forward the external signals of authenticities. So for example, publication results, some conferences, presentations, even the presentation with our final, after every cohort, we have a research symposium and graduation ceremony. Students also have chance to present in the symposium, and they can participate in competitions with what they have done and achieved in the research project. And of course, letter of recommendations and evaluations are also external opinions on what students have done, and how students have done the research. Yeah, so these are very important because, as we said, admission officers only have limited time to review the project, and it's very likely that they won't read the full paper. They will read the abstract and learn about the context, learn about why student did this, and how it helps students in how find their own way. And they will also looking for the external signals so that they know it's actually the students who did the research, not, like someone else's work. And the final point, I know a lot of parents and students are very curious or like care about is the publication. So actually, admission officers had told us that publication is just one way of showing external. It's a one way of external signals to show for students to show the research authenticities. So it's a cherry on the top. Definitely not a must. If students can present a strong letter of recommendations and telling admission officers how this research has helped them in the past and why they did it, and incorporate the research into their application storyline, it's already very good. But publication is, of course, like another layer of proof of authenticity and achievement. Yes, and we also asked how students should present their research in college applications. So we made this graph and based on what admission officers have shared with us. So the first one that we talk about is include a brief abstract, should be direct, and highlights the credential of people who worked with you, like your mentor, who helped you along the way. So showing that they are legitimate in the academic world is important. And also submit a letter of recommendation or evaluation to get at least one external signal in the college applications. And also adding external links to descriptive supplementary material. For example, you can make a YouTube video like talking about your research and how your research can apply to impact the world. It's one way, or you can share your research in a local podcast, or you can, of course, get a publication or competition results to show the admission officer that you're taking your research forward to the next step. And finally, it's really important to trace your journey of your interests. Say, I know one of our students who did 3 research projects, really using research to guide what she's actually passionate about. She did some leadership research, some research in psychology, some research in behavioral economics, and she's showing how through different research projects she finally find her passion in behavioral economics. And we also, because we are a research company, we help students do research, so we're also like doing a lot of researches. Maya and a lot of our teammates are PhD themselves. So we interviewed or surveyed our own students, Lumiere scholars, like how they have used their research in college applications. So we saw like around 50% of students in our program have used recommendation letters from their mentor in college application, and they also, of course, submit an abstract of the paper and attach their paper as additional material in college applications. And 15% of them mentioned the research project as one of their activity in their activity list. And there's a pretty high percentage of students, 65% of students mentioned Lumiere in their personal statement. I think that's also because this project can be very individualized. So students really follow their passion or their cultural context and choose the topic. Maybe the topic is, at this point, the students couldn't add like super new or like advanced knowledge to the academic world yet, but it's definitely a self-exploration through a rigorous academic project. So it's very easy for students to refer their research during personal statement or during interview, because it's feel natural to students. Yes, we talked about how within our own scholars, how their acceptance rates into the top 10 or Ivy League and Stanford increased. So we're showing some acceptances in the past year. So this past admission cycle. So this is not accumulated results. We also had a very impressive college admission results last year, but this is just for this year. And we also have a WeChat official account, which we highlight only Chinese, including like ABC and Chinese students or Chinese around the world, like how they're doing in terms of their college admission in this past year. So if you're interested, you can check it out. And then we'll talk about, we kind of mentioned how Lumiere is different, and I know there are many options for students to engage in research. Maya talked about some options, and there are also other type of programs to choose from. In China, I know like China is very advanced in providing students with these opportunities. So I want to talk about how Lumiere is different. So first one, Lumiere is a selective program. The first reason is that we want to make sure students who enter the program that we are confident that they can finish strong. This is why we're doing this. And long-term wise, we also hope that we can be recognized by admission officers for quality, so that we are not a pay-to-play program. And the second one is we allow students to do very individualized research topic. This is what we think will be those most valuable for students. Also, we have a very huge mentor pool. Like now we already have 1,400 mentors working with us. So they cover a wide range of fields and different topics under each field. So when students come to us with a very unique or like very like interest that other people wouldn't think of, it's very likely that we can find a researcher whose research expertise aligns with the students' research interest. And the third point is we have a nonprofit organization just as the AFI. We have Lumiere Foundation under Lumiere Education, which is a nonprofit that we support 250 students to do research with us for free. Of course, those students usually come from Egypt, Africa, India, those places because it's need-based. But as we're doing nonprofit stuff and like equal access efforts, we have a pretty good relationship with admission officers. They know about us and they are willing to do some private sessions with our alumni and parents and students to share some insights during college applications. So I think that's also super valuable resources that I didn't see other programs offer. And the fourth point is we also offer college credits. We have a partnership with UCSD's Extension School. So if students complete Lumiere's research project with the grade that's above C, they can apply for 3 credits, and the credits will be submitted to colleges as a transcript. So it's another layer of external, as we talk about external authenticity. And the fifth point is our approach and expertise in publication and competition. We're putting a lot of resources and efforts into this because college application is like super competitive, and we really understand many students and parents want them to stand out with some achievements. So we want students to aim high for no matter it's competition or publication, and if they don't get in, we'll support them to submit 2 to 3 times to the backup journals later. What we don't do is have students to submit to like really easy pay-to-play international conferences so that they can just get in. And it's of course less burden on our operation, but we don't think it's a good signal for admission officers. So we really want help students to succeed and just putting more efforts and resources into this. And I will briefly talk about the programs offered at Lumiere and what we are also collaborating with AFI-IvyCompass to offer these 3 options. So the first program is the individual research program, which usually lasts 12 weeks, and students have 9 sessions with their PhD research mentor. Each session is 1 hour, and it's usually like students and mentor meet every week in the program. And the final result is a 15 to 20 pages research paper, and students also get a certificate, college credits, as well as a letter of evaluation for sure after the program. And in addition to the PhD, the sessions with the PhD mentor, students also get one-on-one session with our writing coach, which are all Ivy League native speakers who just help students to edit their writings. And there's also a role called Lumiere Program Manager, who will just oversee students' progress along the way, making sure they're on track and facilitate the communication between the mentor and the student. If a parent has any questions, the Lumiere Program Manager will also step in to talk to the parent. And the second option is the Premium Research and Publication Program. It's actually in the first 3 months, it's the same structure as our individual research program. We just give it 1 more month of research time for students to engage in more in-depth research, and also have 1 to 2 weeks of buffer time to submit their research to the publication, the journal, or competitions. And it's 15 sessions with the PhD mentor, and 4 sessions with the writing coach, and another 4 sessions with our publication specialists, who are our full-time team member, who will help students to choose publication target in the beginning of the program, but also help students to narrow them down and guide students how to submit to publication and how to edit their paper after getting the revision suggestions from the publication, and how to resubmit and get published eventually. So publication specialist is the role who will guide students in the publication journey, and also the program manager will be present. There's a small note that depending on which publication students choose to submit to, there are different processing time for each publication. So if students want to have a publication result for their ED round, so it's the best for students to do their research before the summer of their 12th grade. So if they're doing the research in the summer of entering 12th grade, it's also possible, but it's unlikely a student can aim high for the publication. They will have to choose a safe one to get that results very soon. And the final option is Lumiere Research Fellowship Program. It's longer and more flexible, and usually students who choose this option come in with a pretty specific goal of publishing on highly selective journal, or they want to compete in a super competitive competition, for example, the SF or the Concord Review in the history field. So we offer longer, so more sessions with the mentor, 30 sessions, and this program can last from 6 to 12 months. Essentially, these journals or competitions just has a really high standard in terms of research originality. So it's really hard to get it done or get a good results in 3 months. So we offer a longer program. And finally, I will talk about why we are collabing with AFI-IvyCompass, and how why AFI-IvyCompass Lumiere research program is a good option. So first, we collaborate very closely with AFI-IvyCompass. So once their students join, and we have 2 teams working together, making sure they get matched with the most suitable mentor. And if students are not happy with the first match, we'll switch the mentor before the start of the program multiple times until students find the best option that they're happy with. And so more customization and flexibility for research topics and directions. We have this written application form. Students will write about their personal interest, their course past work, and we will look into it carefully and to give the mentor option when matching students with one. And also the dedicated student manager to enhance parent engagement and monitor the whole process. So as I said, like we have this Lumiere program manager who will oversee the students' progress, and the student manager we have with AFI-IvyCompass, she can also speak Chinese. So when the student has some concerns, we'll create a WeChat group or WhatsApp or a Facebook group to involve the parents. So we just give more attention and happy to get parents involved. Yes, and finally, as I said, we have a application timeline. This one written application, and after students submit the written application, we have an interview. So it's usually 10 to 15 minutes to learn more about students' motivation, their schedule, and their research interest. And then we'll start mentor matching. And of course, students have the choice to confirm their mentor. And after their confirmation, we'll launch them. But if students are not happy with the mentor choice, they can ask for different options many times. And we have 4 cohorts every year, and also summer too. So this makes it like 5 deadlines and 5 cohort timing that you can choose from. If you join our the WeChat group that we have with AFI-IvyCompass, we can share this brochure and this presentation, as well as the admission officer white paper with you guys, so you can have a clear view and review it and ask any questions in the group chat. As we then have the Q&A session, now hand it back to Sophia to share the QR code.
Sounds good. Okay, there's a couple questions I see asking a lot of good questions. Let me share my PPT first. Hopefully it will stay the place I want to stay. Somehow tonight is okay, can you see the QR code? Okay, sounds good. Great. Okay. I wanted to remind everyone, if you will like to be interested in enrolling Lumiere research program, you can scan the barcode on the left-hand side, and then that enrollment manager will be guided to give it to Minru and Maya's team to follow up. If you wanted to just apply for the research, you can also scan the barcode on the left-hand side. The enrollment manager and both barcode can be leading to someone follow up with you to answer your question, to see if you have any specific question. I also wanted to emphasize, if you in the audience already have a AFI-IvyCompass coach, like consultant, maybe like Demi or John or somebody else. John also have a very specific strategic partnership with Lumiere, and he is very keen on research, and so do Demi. So both of them will be working with Lumiere directly or working through the AFI-IvyCompass team. Either way is fine. It's all the same. The goal is helping your kids to have a interest being landed on a interest of a community related issue and a question being asked. And then we'll be helping him in his portfolio, will be seen and also standing out as somebody action through their research. I think that is the goal. So let's go to the question. And Minru, how do you want to do that? Do you want me to read the question to you, or do you want to kind of go through them yourself and then pick the things you think you wanted to answer? How would you like to handle this?
Yeah, I can just go through the questions and read it out loud for everyone and just answer. Maya, to chime in if you have anything to add. Yes, we have already answered how students choose a research topic, like where are they originated from. So it's students' personal interest and will be guided and calibrated by the PhD mentor. And how about duration of the research program? Generally, we talked about this, it's usually 3 to 6 months. So the first two research program options are 3 to 4 months, and the final one is a longer one for students who want to like aim for like super competitive competition or selective journals, and that one's more flexible, so it's 6 to 12 months.
Mira, one more second. Can you read the question slowly so everyone will, understanding the question? One question I think I saw here, I wanted to repeat that. From Dong Zhang asking, where are this research topic originated from? I think you answered some of the question, but I want to emphasize, if some of the student under AFI-IvyCompass consultant, a lot of our consultant will be guide the student to select a local issue, interested by the student, academic interest, but same time, the coach, the consultant will helping the student to research local issues. That way more related, also more unique. So is this question being answered? And if you are not coached by AFI-IvyCompass consultant, then that research subject, can that be discussed with your mentor? Can they do that?
Yes, it's definitely can be discussed with the mentor. And just as Sophia said, like AFI-IvyCompass consultant will help students to find a local issue to tackle or find a research topic that can fit in or align with the student's general application, direction, and storyline. So it's very important, as we talk about how admission officers want to see the research fit students' context, why students want to do it.
Yeah, you read the question first, slowly, and then everyone can hear it, and then you keep providing answer with Maya.
Perfect. So Wendy Lee asked, what about the duration of the research programs generally? We had one slide introducing the 3 types of programs. So there are options. The first 2 options are 3 to 4 months, and the final options is 6 to 12 months, which is longer for students to do more original research and aiming for competition and publication that's highly selective.
Can I add one question on that note? Because sometimes the family are very confused. They always want to drive to have a like up-notch, like very quality result, which that's misleading, right? Because I often communicating with the parents, like if they're talking about 3 months, 4 months, trying to squeeze in and finish during that period of time, don't drag it. Because once you drag it, you don't have the end result. And then because the end result, it's not the key. I think the top-notch college you want to see, you actually execute on your interest. So I wanted to have all the audience understand is you design that program timeframe for a reason. Correct?
Yes.
Some student like drag for a long time, it's not worth it. Correct? You don't have to finding a like worldwide finding. Some professor took them a lifelong time. They're not looking for that. If they know you're a high school student, they know if you're working 3 months, they're not looking for to cure the cancer. They're not, right? They just want to see that process you actually execute. You get your hands dirty. That's more important, right?
Yeah, that's true. And we all like students have a lot on their plate. So if you're committed to this 3 to 4 months, let's finish that strong and move to the other project. But our program manager and our program design and the schedule was also are trying to help students to stay on track and finish on time. Yes. So Kathy asked, can you give me a couple of examples for topics related to finance or business? Did the research get published? So as I said, like we have probably almost 150 mentors in finance and business. So they cover a wide range of topics that you can ever think about. So it's like it can be behavioral finance or quantitative finance. Under business, it's like marketing, leadership, organizational behavior, accounting. So anything that your students might be interested in, it's very likely that we have mentor on that direction. And did the research get published? It's a little bit, the question is a little general. We don't assess whether the research get published under a specific subject. We do have a rough number for students who meet all the program requirements. We have around 80% of them in the publication program eventually get their paper published. So it's definitely not a guaranteed results because students have to put into the efforts, and every journal and publication has their own standard, but there's a pretty decent rate if students actually are doing the work. Yeah. So similar for Melanie, we don't have a publication rate under just a specific subject or field, STEM, as you mentioned, but we have a lot of students who do STEM research and a lot of mentors in those fields. Yeah, hi, Kathy, I think it's a good question that where should students put the detailed research experience or paper abstract in the common application. So we have students included, of course, as you said, in the short activity list, but a lot of students mentioned in the PS, and a lot of students mention it in the interview process. And I know for some schools, you can submit your abstract or the full research paper as additional material, and your mentor's recommendations or evaluation as additional material.
I want to add it to that. For Kathy's question, where should the student put the detailed research experience on paper abstract? Generally speaking, on the common application, there is a section called other information. So usually our consultant is asked the student to provide the paper abstract and copy paste into the other information. If you have a publication on the external somewhere, then you can providing that link, copy paste into the other information section. So just want to make it clear, there is a section there. Besides what Minru was talking about, the video or other information, yes, you can have section on the application you can put in there as supporting document to submit. You did, this on your own as evidence.
Perfect. Thank you, Sophia. You're definitely an expert on this.
No problem.
Yes.
As team.
Yes. Jeff asked how to find a mentor for research. Does Lumiere help with that? Yeah, I think it's definitely one of our major responsibilities to match a mentor whose research expertise align with students' research interest. And how we learn about student research interest is from the written application and the interview. And we have also done the interviews with our mentors, so we know, and we have their resumes and their background, so we know a lot of our mentors. So we'll do that matching for the students, and students have a choice to confirm the mentor. So no worries on that front. And Dave asked how to find an internship position for high school students who participate in a research program. I think with Lumiere, it's less about internship position. It's more about students lead the research, and mentors support students to finalize the research. So to find an internship position, I think you can reach out to local schools around your area and ask about whether there's any positions available for students to help in a research lab. I think there are definitely opportunities, but it requires some efforts and time and determination to cold email maybe like 100 professors, and some will get back to you, but the amount that you outreach to should be big. Otherwise, it might be it's not that easy.
Yeah, I also wanted to add on the internship position. I heard from our consultant, unless it's related to academic narrative. If it's not related to your academic narrative and main story, then it's not as useful as a research project. So it's not just speaking for you, for Lumiere. I just wanted to indicating those professional consultants did saying internship is not as impact as a research project as a third party.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sophia. And I think we got a question from Mary. For the 3 programs, can we start with the individual research program and move up to longer program, or do we have to select one of the 3 programs from the very beginning? Yeah, the answer is you can definitely upgrade, and just when you upgrade, you just like give additional the price gap, so we don't charge extra. So I think it's we're pretty flexible for students, and but I think if you're aiming, like, you can usually students upgrade from individual research program to publication program, or publication program to fellowship program, but sometimes it's less likely for students to upgrade from individual program to the fellowship program, because the design of the program is a little bit different. For example, in the publication program, we will have students to choose the publication target in week 3. So if that's not happening, and when you upgrade, it's how to say, like, there are additional efforts that you have to take in the later stage, which might not be the best as if you do it early on. So there's a small difference, but not a huge impact. So if you're not sure whether research is for you, and you're not sure about your research topic, whether you can actually do something meaningful, you can definitely start from the basic package. Which university are these mentors from? Our mentors are mostly from top 20 universities and also top 20 departments in the US. And we also have some mentors from Cambridge and Oxford. Yeah, we really value the ranking of the subject. So, like, for example, we have for psychology, we have maybe 40% of our psychology mentor are from UCLA, because UCLA's psychology is very strong. And for history, like, a lot of mentors are from Princeton. So we do intentionally select high-ranking field. Yeah, is the research program for high schoolers? Any opportunity for middle schoolers? Yes, I think 90% of our students doing the research are high school students, but the youngest one, I think, she's actually 8th grade. So I would say if English speaking is not a problem and students are very independent and mature, 8th grade should be also possible. Yeah. And Wendy asked, what's the range of the fee charged? So our basic program is around $2,800, and above, I think the fellowship program is around $8,000. So there's the price range for students to choose from as well. And
you also have a different price range, right? Because I know when you're working with a different consultant, different channels, they might add on different kind of service. The price could be different. So maybe it's better to individually, based on the situation, maybe talk to them individually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think ideally you can talk to your AFI-IvyCompass consultant, and we'll decide which one's the good options for you, both price-wise and program design-wise.
Yeah, because we have different arrangements.
So Lynn asked, what's the QR code for the WeChat group? So I think it's the one on the left. Sophia, the QR code for the
enrollment manager, yes, is the one you can scan in to get into our WeChat group, which you can continue to ask questions and stuff like that. The right-hand side is one directly applying for research if you think this program is ready for you. Yes, you're right.
Yes, perfect. And Mary asked, if a topic is not in the list of listed research topic, can we add the research topic of interest? Yes. So you can just choose the closest one and write your specific research interest in the questions. In the following question, we asked 3 questions about students' research interests specifically, because the listed research topics are limited. We won't include as many as possible, but there are many like directions that we haven't covered. So feel free to just choose the closest one. For example, if you're, I know someone's interested in linguistic, and we don't have linguistic as a research topic listed, so you can choose sociology or classics. So we don't just look at the research topic choice, we look at your detailed answers to the questions. And do your mentors get paid by Lumiere or students? Yes, we pay mentors from Lumiere because this is like a holistic program that we don't only offer mentor researchers. We offer the curriculum design, the student guidebook. We also have the portal for students to submit their homework, their deadlines. And we also have the resources such as writing coach, publication specialist. So our mentor is one part of the curriculum design to help students succeed. Of course, PhD mentors are the most important part, but it's not only the engagement between the research mentor and the student. Yes, and which grade is best? Mary, Gloria, I think the 2 questions you asked we have covered, and Mary also asked which grade at high school is the best grade to enroll in one of the programs, 9th grade or 10th grade. I think really depending on the students' pace, their own pace, so it's better to discuss with the consultant at AFI-IvyCompass or like your own consultant to decide when is the best time. But 10th grade and 11th grade are the most of students, like maybe 70% are doing those in the 10th and 11th grade. But we do have allies who doing it 8th grade or 12th grade who just before the admission season. Yes, Jane asked, if my path is business, not scientific or technology, does research still relevant or internship is more relevant? From my perspective, I think research internship is definitely more intuitive if you're interested in business. It's also great if you can have some internship experience. And internship experience, if you have a successful one, it shows your applied abilities, like your communication skills, your ability to apply what you learned to the work and get things done. But research shows another layer of abilities, which are, like reading like college level material and analyzing, collecting data, and doing critical analysis and trying adding new information to the existing field or like to the existing knowledge of human beings. So it's different set of skills to demonstrate. We have a lot of students who do both internship and research when they're interested in business, and I think it's a good combination. Yeah. Where can you find internships for middle schoolers? I think there are many ways, through family connections, or there are also internship programs available for students. Most of them I saw is for high school students, but I think for middle schoolers, you can start from like doing some small business on your own. I think those are also like all great resources. And of course, I'm not the expert, and I'm not a college consultant myself. So I think if you talk to a college consultant, they have a lot of resources aggregated, and they will make a better recommendation. And Yan asked, in the college application form, some school will ask, 1, how did you get this research opportunity? 2, does the research program involve payment? How to answer this question if research is through your program? Thanks. Yes, I think For how did you get this research opportunity, you can definitely say you applied and you got in to the research program, because we are not a pay-to-play program. We have admission rates around 35 to 40%. So there's some selectivity to this program. You getting in is an achievement already. And second, does the research program involves payment? Yes, I think you should be honest about this. And we actually asked about the research, asked admission officers about this question, whether they care if a research costs money or not. They actually says it's totally fine, because a lot of profile building activities it's not free. And as long as students know why they're doing it and they're getting a lot from it, it's okay, and shows like you can talk about why you did it. It's not just for the sake of it. That's okay, because yeah, it's a tricky question, but I think you should be honest, and admission officers won't discredit this research just because it's paid, because a lot of students do it and it's normalized. Jane asked, does each student has different research topics or as a group? For Lumiere, each student has their own research topic, and we want that to be the case because each student is unique. And if your college applicant storyline is same as the other applicant, it's not great. So students have their own research topic. Dawn asked, for the current high school junior, which cohort should they apply for? I think the closest cohort is our winter cohort, which has a deadline in the end of November, and the cohort starting in the beginning of December. So it's the winter cohort that you can choose from. We also have a spring and summer cohort for high school junior. So it depending on students' workload in different timing, and you should probably discuss with your college consultant. Mary also asked, if a research requires doing work in a laboratory, will the mentor help the student to get access to a lab at the university? I think it's possible if students is located exactly at the same place and near a university that the mentor comes from. So it's possible, but it's really case by case. And if students are not doing the 6 to 12 months program, if they're doing the first two options, and they're doing some work that requires lab involvement, usually the mentor will provide some data they collected, and students can do some simulation and data analysis, have their original conclusions. Just based on our experience in the past, if students want to get to the lab and collect some like really in-depth data in life sciences fields, like 3 to 4 months might not be enough. So just a heads up. Yeah. Yes, I think I answered most of the questions. We will share the presentation, our brochure, and the white paper with admission officers in the group chat. So feel free to join, and we can talk more and communicate and just answer more questions in the group chat.
Sounds great. Maya, do you have anything you wanted to share with us?
No, I think Minru really covered all of the questions, and thank you for all the thoughtful questions. It's clear that everyone here is really thinking about this in a rigorous way.
Yeah, great. I really like your introduction. You were mentioning you as a mentor for Lumiere for 4 years. Yes. So if parents are wondering who those behind the mentor are, and you're a great picture and photo showing here as somebody qualified in very good school, one of the questions asking where those PhD, and also I have a question many times from parents, they're looking for Ivy League school professor. So maybe two of you can answer, what's the difference? Is it necessary to finding somebody professor? What's the difference? Why Lumiere is focused on PhD? Why you guys starting business model as PhD rather than somebody as a professor? Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that if you want, Minru. I think a few things. So with a PhD candidate, we've found that like someone like me, we're close enough to having entered the research process and remembering what it was like to get into research, but far enough along to have really in-depth experience. Whereas oftentimes professors are very far away from having just started the research process. So that's one area is we think that we're actually a better match in helping guide them along. The second area is that oftentimes, if you want to work with a professor, you need to be doing the exact work that the professor is doing. You need to actually be like an assistant to them. And that's one thing that students can do. You can be an assistant. But the vast majority of the time, the professor is not going to take the time and energy to mentor the student on their research interests and what they want to do. So for someone like me, when you're in grad school, you're very inspired by having sort of a second job and the excitement that comes with working with high school students and sort of talking to them about their research, whereas I think it's less so that is the case with professors. We do have some early career professors that work with us, but I actually think, maybe I'm biased because I am a PhD candidate, but I actually think that we make really better mentors in that regard.
I totally agree. That's why we partnership with the Lumineer, because I personally also feel sometimes the admission officer, they really don't care who's behind the scene. So some of the Chinese parents thinking, oh, I'm looking for somebody famous. Let me tell you, it's not worth it. It's totally not worth it, because those people, if they're coming from very high level colleges and university, they don't have time for you. They don't have time for high schooler. And so you don't get the full attention. And Lumineer providing PhD, they usually, another benefit to me is they're young. They know how to communicating with high school students. They know how to talk to, they identify your issues, they identify what may be roadblock for high schooler, much better. And they have a lot more attention, right? Because they have time on their hand and they can pay a lot of attention, because really doesn't matter who leading you to do that research. Is end of the result, you're able to writing a paper, quality paper, you're able to working with the Lumineer staff to publish somewhere. And because think about that, all you need to putting on is the paper abstract on the application. They only see that, like Mingwu said, they have no time. Average each student review time is 7 minutes to 12 minutes. So they don't have a time to looking through your very academic focused paper. So the focus is not on that. The focus is they seeing you done that. You're leading by somebody done that activity. So you are actually hands-on to put your interest into a reality, exploratory effort. That's what's important, right? So I want to make sure the parents are still here to understanding, why you're doing these things, and then what's helping you. So we understanding that scope, then you can use time wisely. So number one, not necessarily with the Ivy League school professor, PhD, I think can be done the job and done well, proven, in the past. So I wanted to, from your eyes and your mouth to let people know, why Lumineer are starting business as such business model. Okay, good. Anything Miru wanted to add on for our audience?
Nope, I think we cover a lot of good questions, and thanks everyone for joining us this evening, and welcome to join the group chat so we can talk more.
Okay, and wonderful. Okay, thanks again for Maya and Miru for a wonderful presentation. I always enjoy listening to you, add more knowledge and a lot of valuable information. I always learn from you each time, and looking forward to, working with you in the coming month. Again, if you are interested in looking for more information, asking questions in that WeChat group, so join us, either scan the left-hand side or right-hand side barcode. Thanks again for both of your time, and thank Allison behind the scene to providing technique support. And thanks everyone join us tonight on Saturday night. I hope you're getting a lot of information. We love to have continue that conversation with you. And thank you for 100. We had like almost 200 people today. And thanks for another 99 people with us all the way until now. Thanks everyone. Have a great weekend. Looking forward to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.